The two center backs and the left back had a misunderstanding. The ball hit one of them. João came from here, did what he was supposed to do, and then laid off the ball for Mete, and Mete scored. 8 seconds in the game, obviously the best possible way to start a game against one of the best teams in the league at that point. So this season's game against Blackburn, we played away, and we decided to play against one of the best teams at that point of the season, who scored most goals, and very dynamic attack, very good style of football. We really love them, and we said that this is going to be a big test for us that we want to pass, and a great challenge. They played in 4-3-3 system, and lucky for us, the game started very, very positively because we really got the kickoff. That was important because we prepared for this game to surprise our opponent, starting from the beginning and putting us on the front foot. But not only that, but really meaning that we can strike in the first couple of seconds of the game. It's something that we did before, so it wasn't unknown for our team, and we did practice the kickoff, how we wanted to do it. We wanted to surprise them basically with attacking their two center backs directly from the kickoff. They had on the goal a little change, young goalkeeper Pierce, who we also thought that it was a good moment to challenge him and test him from the beginning. And we put a play together which is very simple, but we just needed to put the right guys in the right places. So what we had is Jakub Mete and Lucas João, running after the kickoff, running. We had our two midfielders, Josh Loren and Andy Rinamota, to block the two players who will run and press our set piece, in this case, taker, who was Michael Olise, and two of them will run towards the center backs. This was Alpha Semedo, who played the ball. He would run to win the second ball. We were a little bit lucky. The goalkeeper thought that the ball is going out, so he already adjusted maybe too soon, and the two center backs and the left back had a misunderstanding. The ball hit one of them. João came from here, did what he was supposed to do, and then laid off the ball for Mete, and Mete scored. 8 seconds in the game, obviously the best possible way to start a game against one of the best teams in the league at that point. This was one way how we looked to surprise our opponent, and it worked well for us. And the other one was not only because we do things to surprise our opponents, it's just because the way they play, narrow way, where three of their strikers will look to play very narrow and they will push their fullbacks higher. We were looking to overload our midfield, and we switched for the first time our shape, and we played in formation 4-4-2 with diamond in the middle. So this is how it looked like on the field. We had Rafael on the goal. We had Thomas Esteves. We had here Morrison and Liam Moore. Richards on the left back. Josh Loren, Andy Renamota, Alpha Semedo. In this position, beneath two strikers, played Michael Olise and did a very good job on their number 6, who was very important in their build-up. Mete and Lucas João in attack. This was important for us because, as I mentioned, they were the team that will push their fullbacks high, and 3 players together here with Armstrong, who is very mobile, very good attacking player, very good forward. They would look to get their center midfielders on the ball and then play through and look to whether they're going to play the ball straight, direct, then lay off and try to play 3v2 here, or in cases which we did, when you close here inside with your fullbacks, they will look to play the ball outside. And that's why they had their fullbacks. How we confronted this is exactly what I showed here. From this picture, we were capable of pushing back in their build-up, pushing back Josh Loren in this create 3v3, and then basically the line of 5. If he was needed to step in, he would always go from back position to a more midfielder position in our build-ups and in our ball possession. But the main thing was that we didn't want to be exposed to one outside, and we didn't want to let our midfielders stretched around the field defending one or the other side. So it was very important, tight, narrow inside. Another peculiar thing happened during the game is that their fullbacks, as they couldn't now penetrate through the middle and play the ball wide, they started to drop a little bit more. And for that, what we did is, in our defensive shape, when without the ball, we will go in this little bit wider in this formation, where our center forwards will defend the pass outside to the fullbacks. It was a little bit tricky for us to defend the bounces when they played the ball with the midfielder who was coming, but we still could adjust because the ball was in front of us. And most importantly, in those cases, we were capable of closing one side and press. And actually happened various times when we won the ball and we had open pass to our second striker, who from the opposite side, instead of staying here, would come inside and be as a number 9 target. After a good opening of the game, unfortunately, what happens in football, in the next 3 minutes, you have to expect the reaction of your opponent, especially against the team like Blackburn. And we were a little bit surprised, or maybe too comfortable with taking the lead so quickly in the game. So what happened is that in one of our build-ups, where we wanted to initiate with the goalkeeper Rafael playing wide to Richards, Omar, we lost the ball and we were too open in that moment. So with this breakaway, we couldn't stop a great cross, which they were very good. They are not a big team here, so they will look not to put the ball in the box, but more target a player where they were putting the ball, and mostly on the ground, which that's how we considered the goal. After we conceded, we actually didn't get nervous. They did push more, higher. They got back the confidence and the momentum, and that wasn't an issue for us. I think that the team was very solid, very well prepared, physically, tactically, and mentally. And we kept doing our things where we wanted to always overload one or the other side and look to expose the 2 center backs with our 2 strikers playing 1v1. As they didn't adjust that much because it was still early in the game, when we got to execute this throw-in from a good shape, and we always look to have numbers in short distances here, where we did a couple of rotations where we could provoke some movement from our opponent and spaces, we looked to play the ball to our striker, and we actually did in this shape. So we opened a little bit more spaces on this side. In that play, we were a little bit lucky, and Alpha Semedo was capable of winning the ball. After the ball there was a one rebound, he won the ball, and what happened is that Michael Olise got on the ball, and with his quickness, they were stretched 1v1. With his quickness, he was capable to run away with the ball, play we won, and score. That was the breakaway that we were looking for, especially when we committed with the 2 center backs, and working from the tightness in between the lines, we could expect more transitions like this that were, in this case, was provoked from a throw-in. From this shape in diamond, 4-4-2 in diamond, we wanted to have, when the ball was on one side, we wanted one of our center forwards to be in between the center back and the left back, so he is committed and doesn't step up on our fullback. And we also wanted to create these pockets here where we could get our players on the ball. In this case, we wanted Michael Olise, who is fantastic in finding those spots, receive the ball, and then with one pass eliminating a lot of opposition. That's why we thought that that was the best position for him for this game to start. So he would always look for these pockets to receive, create the overload on one side or the other. And if we are patient enough when we are not under pressure and we are comfortable, we will find Michael, look to find Michael, and then from there we will look to progress. So I mentioned that if the ball is on this side, we will look to have this setup. And if the ball is on the opposite side, we will look to have this setup. This is how we basically, in one of those moments when we felt confident, kept the ball, moved the ball side to side, and were capable of switching the point of attack and find Michael, who overloaded this position here. We stretched their winger and their fullback. So when he received the ball here, he was capable of finding the right position and right moment to combine before we set up the position and commit the defense to step up on Joao, who would drop in between the lines and then lay off and run from Meite on the opposite side. Here we are. We brought the ball in their box and on opposition's field. So here we are again. We are on the opposition's half. This is the purpose of the possession, or at least this is how I see it. I want to bring the ball here, and here is where, like we like to say, here's where the magic happens, in the opposition's box. So what we looked here is with Meite trying to resolve the situation 1v1 quickly and finish, but in case that's not possible, we will look to join our fullback higher. In this case, we will join our opposite, again, fullback, in this case Richards. They stepped up, fantastic maneuver, fantastic 1v1 play for Richards, and he beat his opponent, tried to play the ball through. They deflected the ball went outside. We look to have the security always on the top of the box for this kind of plays, and this was Josh who picked up the ball, and not only that, but executed with a fantastic strike from outside of the box, and we went up 3-1. Now, here we are in halftime, changing room, euphoria. Everyone is excited. Everyone is actually believing that not only this game we're going to win, but this is a serious year for us, given that we had a fantastic run so far. But there are also bad news. The bad news was that Meite got a knock during the game, and it didn't look good in his ankle. So we needed to be ready for a change if that was needed to be done. We tried to channel the euphoria towards the urgency and towards the winning mentality, where nobody has to now drop their shields, basically, meaning that we haven't done anything. The second half is a new game. The approach has to be the same from the beginning. Not only not conceding is important, but we have to strike. This team will be more affected if we attack them, and we attack them efficiently, than if we sit back and defend. Here it is, the second half starts, and as we didn't do changes at that point yet, but we addressed more our importance of our structure on the field, tight lines, and winning the second balls and striking on counter-attack. We wanted to keep our shape the same, but we kept our eye on Meite. They weren't successful playing in the same formation in the second half, so they decided to make a change. Gallagher came in for Evans, and they went more in very attacking, very offensive, actually, 4-4-2 formation, where Gallagher, especially in one of the runs he was doing from here, was capable of stretching our two center backs and creating this gap for Armstrong. What happened actually is this. There was a head injury, and Alpha Semedo needed to go out. While he was returning on the field and still looking to get back to his position, and we get back in our structure, they took advantage of it and circulated the ball quickly from one side to another. Gallagher, as I mentioned, ran, stretched our defense and space between the center backs. Great service and great finish from Armstrong. What happened later is that we did have to make the substitution, and Meite couldn't continue the game, so we needed to go, as we didn't have another option, or at that point I think that's what we all thought it was the best solution. We went to 4-2-3-1, our usual system, where now we had Josh Loren back to his position, Andy Rinamota, Alpha, Semedo, Michael Olise on the left side, and we put Shona Luka on the right-hand side. Luka Joao in attack as an attacking reference. So now it's 3-2. They start to have more confidence. They feel like now they have it. It's their opportunity, and they start to push forward more and more. In that moment, what we are looking for is to consolidate our lines, our density, especially behind the ball. And we decided to move a little bit in an awkward shape, but we needed to put, again, Josh to oversee this space here and control it with his presence, which is great. Again, from this position, we always wanted him to move inside, but the starting position should be in between our center backs. That helped, and not only because we had more density, but we also had a compactness in between the lines, and we were preventing all these passes to their two strikers inside of the box and the crosses. And again, what happens when you have three players here is that you can release a little bit more your fullbacks to prevent, confront, and block the crosses, which was one of their tactics, definitely, especially in the second half, with two very good box strikers like Gallagher and Armstrong. But in the moments where we had the ball, and especially in the moments where we steal the ball, we could go in a quick transitions. This is how we scored our fourth goal. When we considered the second goal, actually was good for us because the reaction was immediate. And what happened in that moment is that we went back to what we were so far in the season. We went back to our shape in a formation we were used to play and in a style we are used to play. Especially because, as I mentioned before, Blackburn is a fantastic team in possession, very dynamic, very quick. They rotate very well, and they were chasing the result. They were becoming more aggressive and more confident, and we started to get to retreat a little bit more. But that was actually a good thing for us because what we created, we were more conservative in that point of the game. After a goal kick, what we did, we were very compact, winning the second ball, quick transition to attack, and Joao finished with a marvelous shot on goal and score for 4-2. That was the key maybe for us, and that's something that from that moment I've learned, that when the things are difficult, make it simple, put everyone in his place, in his position where he performs the best, and play the football that your team suits best. And for me, that worked in this game.